after an 8-day trip in Motala, foraging. And you know what? I have found claudiflower mushrooms. I also went to visit at least 7-8 thrift shops, and I have brought tons of stuff with me back to Skellefteå. So welcome to my channel. My name is Estee. I am a Singaporean staying in North Sweden. The trip to Motala is about 12 hours. I was really looking forward to this trip because I want to find these mushrooms. On the first 5 minutes when we get into the forest, we already found 2 big ones. Finally! My first ever claudiflower mushrooms! After 2 years of desperately searching, I finally found my first one. This mushroom is at least 2 kilograms and it is bigger than my head. Look! And then 50 meters away we found another one. Michelle used a clean sharp knife to cut the base of the stem. You want to be gentle because these mushrooms are very fragile and can crumble easily. You don't need to harvest the entire cluster because by leaving a bit of the base, it will allow the mycelium to regenerate and potentially fruit again next year on the same spots. You should place the mushroom in a basket or mesh bag, not plastic bag, because this mushroom sweat, bruise and break easily. Claudiflower are very big, so make sure you bring a big basket. When fresh, this mushroom should be firm, creamy white and light yellow in color, and it smells nutty and slightly sweet. They are parasitic and saprobic, meaning that they feed on decaying and weakening trees. This means to say the older the forest, the better it is because the trees are much older, and you need to look around on old pine forests, wooden land path, or the edge of a logging area where pine roots are exposed. I was looking for this mushroom for the past 2 years in north of Sweden, but I found none. And wanting to pick this mushroom has been in my bucket list for at least 2 years now, and I'm so happy I finally found them. I heard you can find them in USA, Canada and the UK. Even Europe like the Central Northern Europe, Germany, UK, Poland, Scandinavian, and for Asian region is Korea, Japan, China and parts of Siberia. Usually it has irregular shape or a bit round, and it can grow up to 10 kilograms. It looks like a claudiflower. To some people look like a brain or egg noodles. Always clean them thoroughly as dirt and bugs might hide inside the fold. The base is usually thick and short, and it is really chewy, and I love the texture. This mushroom usually found on the base of a pine or a spur tree. And typically they fruit around the late summer from August to even up to November depending on the climate, and it often appears after heavy rain and during cooler and moist weather. South Sweden has more denser, older pine, deeper, sandier, well-drained soil. It's perfect for these mushrooms. Yes, my first broom swamp. Now we are talking. I'm so happy I found my first claudiflower mushroom. So the tips is like, find a place where there are really old trunks. And this is how I clean and prepare my mushroom for freezing. First, I need to get rid of all the dirt, and sometimes you can find insect inside here too. You can use a brush, or like me, just using a knife and just pull out all the dirt, and then I separate them in sections. I personally find that by doing this, it is much easier to get rid of the dirt that are stuck between the holes. After that, I quickly wash it in cold water and squeeze out the water using a kitchen towel. I know it looks very rough here, but actually I squeeze them very gently. Try to remove as much water as possible because when the mushroom is dry, the chances of spoil is lesser. I kept in the refrigerator for 7 days, and when I reached back in Shelleffield, I cut them into smaller pieces and boiled them in hot water. After about 10 to 15 minutes, I strained them and rinsed them in cold water. I tell you, the stalks is a treat to the nose. It is so aromatic. I didn't throw it away. I put them in the freezer and keep them as stocks for future use. For the mushroom, I pack them in bag and freeze it. I was really happy. It feels like I touched a lottery. Finally, I found these mushrooms. And honestly, this mushroom is not that difficult to find. Besides claudiflower, we also found a few other mushrooms. This is parasol mushrooms. In Swedish, it's called stoltfjäll sheavlings. I heard this is also another very delicious mushrooms. When they are fully open, they can be up to 25 centimeters diameters. Usually the stems is very tall and slender and a little bit hard, and the color is beige in color. It has this nipple-like that raise in the center of the bulb. The stems is thin and it can grow up to 30 centimeters. It is brown in color and is patterned with these snake skins-like scales. The flesh is white in color and it has this really pleasant, mild and nutty aroma. Me and Michelle, we went to a course last year. It's a mushroom foraging course. So we know that these are the mushrooms that are safe and they are edible. So we picked a few and we went home and then we fried them with butter and garlic. And let me tell you, it was so delicious. I fried these 4 different mushrooms which I've never tasted before in just butter, salt and pepper. So now we are going to have a taste test at dinner table. I'm not lying, but all of them taste so good. This is how I prepare my parasol mushrooms. Oh my god, this mushroom is so delicious. If you see them, pick them. Besides being in the forest, we also did some sightseeing, all those tourist places. And also we went to one souvenir shop where we bought some souvenir to bring home with us. I think the price-wise, they are not that expensive, and that really surprised me. So we went to, I think, 2 or 3 places. I remember one was up in this mountain. He was driving around this mountain, and I remember when we were there, the sun was setting. It was so beautiful. Wow, look at that. It's a sunset. Filma du mig? We also managed to forage with a few more Singaporean because Michelle, she has been living there for 11 years now. So she managed to find a few Singaporean friends who settled there. I think towards the last day, we went mushroom foraging with them. And they are Singaporean and also Malaysian. So we brought them to this forest where we could find some winter chanterelle. And they didn't have any experience in the Swedish forest, so we tried to, guide them a little bit because they've never foraged mushrooms. And I'm so glad that we found some edible mushrooms so they could bring home, dry them, and maybe eat them during the winter. Meeting Singaporean, even though I do not know them, but because we speak the same language, Singlish, so it felt like home for me. And I wish we have a longer time to spend more time and maybe get to know them better. Besides foraging and talking Singlish with my Singaporean friend, we also went to visit a few thrift shops. So, you know, I end up buying a lot of stuff and we came home with the car fully packed. So let me show you what I bought. I bought this tray which is made of wood and it is in really good condition. I think it was like $125, about $12. So I really like it because it is perfect for my candies and my Asian snacks. And another one that I really like is this green chair. I don't know why, I always want to have a green chair. And this looks perfectly beside the fireplace. And also this scarf, I really like the color. Got this cookie from IKEA, and this one is in the shop here in Skellefteå, and I found out that LG has a lot of very beautiful wine glasses and they are in this emerald green in color, which is my favorite color. Also found this really nice green vase. I think this was like 20 crown. Green is my favorite color. And I bought this tablecloth, which is very vintage. I think this is a really old one, but because it has the same color as my color scheme, I thought this would go perfect with my kitchen. This is not vintage, but new product from IKEA. I've forgotten to remove the sticker. I got this at 10 kroner at the Lopis here in Skellefteå, and I think it looks really nice at the window, letting some light pass through. I also found this cloth for taking out the hot plate from the oven. They are hand knitted, one for 10 crown. It's perfect for my kitchen. And also some green. I know you guys say, oh, why everything is green in color, right? Even my flower pots are green in color too. These two tulips are really vintage. I love them. It looks really nice on this window. And just above here, my emerald green collections. I've also bought this vintage green color curtain. I thought it matched and it let through some lights. As you guys know, winter is approaching, so it's better to, you know, make this house brighter. I prefer to buy second-hand because they are not only very beautiful vintage items, and it's also much cheaper. I really enjoy shopping there in Motala compared to Skellefteå. Our place is like so difficult to find great stuff because we only have like two big flea thrift shop here. So you have to be there early to get all the good stuff. And unfortunately, I'm not the type that is fast enough. I am so glad that I have this opportunity to visit Motala in the autumns, get to know the forest, and also get to know Robert and Michelle better, and some Singaporean friends. I hope you enjoy this video. If you do, give me a hype instead of a like. You know, there's a button below that has hype. This will help my channel to grow. Wish you could subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you in my next. Bye bye.